Moo and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Pink Tron, a super late and a slightly speedy Pink Tron. With me tonight, Craig Martin. What are you drinking?
I am drinking nothing but munching on cake.
He is sat in his truck, and I'm drinking a peppermint tea because I've already had some drinks this evening and needed no more. Where should we start? Heard Summer Racing League was in Glasgow this week, which was a really fun and really tough route. Short,
Scotland
only about
Smash.
20 Ks. As you say, yeah, Scotland Smash. Short, only 20 Ks, but you've got Champion Sprint twice and the Clyde Kicker all in the first 3 kilometers. So,
Oh, it's,
like, that is super tough. You do the Champion Sprint a third time at 15 Ks. In between that, you've got Breakaway Bray, another Clyde Kicker, and then the finish which, if I remember rightly, was sort of after the corkscrew climb. I've deleted it from my memory, having done it last night. So,
yeah, so it was kind of just over the top of the corkscrew climb, I think.
so you raced race three, I think, Craig. I remember tuning
I
in and
did, yeah.
watching a bit of it. I raced race one, which was super fun. I did not warm up. I nearly got dropped on the flight kicker at the start, but managed to make my way back on. One breakaway Bray, having warmed up. And then just about, I think I finished third after all the points had shooken out. Quite excitingly, Chris Greenland of this province, parish, that's the word I'm looking for, attempted a very panache win, which was to attack on the climb up to the it's sort of a lap banner. I can't remember
Hmm.
what it's called.
Yep.
There's a route banner there to hold it down the hill to then attack up the corkscrew. He attacked to the front D group. I saw him coming and tried to lead him out a bit more, but the group two in the C's were super motivated. I managed to catch him up and then smash it up the corkscrew. So kudos, Chris, for a panache attack. But yeah, very exciting. But your race, I was really impressed with the tail gunning you were able to do, Craig. So how did your race go?
So it went really well. I took into account your feedback and did warm up. And yeah, we had a pretty strong group, and I was able to do really well on all the points, and I was able to win. So yeah, because so I won the first champions, I won the first Clyde. Cy Seymour got me on the second champions. I won breakaway. Tonks got me on. So I've raced him 3 or 4 times in this HSRL series. Good racer. He got me on the second Clyde kicker, and then I won the last champions and came third on the line. Cy was first to the line, beat Tonks, and I was just kind of drafting them at the end. I had a pretty good points lead.
Several things I noticed. One is well, firstly, shout out to Jeff who raced in the D's, who also does a little YouTube roundup of that race, and it's a really neat
Yeah.
little 12-minute roundup of a long race. So yeah, go check it out if you haven't. Um, Firstly, that plugin that for Source that gives you the points looks super neat. That's very helpful, isn't it? And I guess lastly the Clyde kicker I watched Craig go through. So Craig dropped nearly off the back of the group completely. There was a gap to you in the main group, and Shifty attacked
Yep.
that Clyde kicker really fast. And I was like, oh, is he going to catch him? But the draft is so strong, especially as you were saying on the flat bit of the Clyde kicker, you're able to sort of keep that
Yep.
draft, keep the speed high, and you're nearly on Shifty's wheel by the time you get back. And I don't think your watts are that much higher. Like you sprinted it well, but
Yep.
Shifty's got a very good sprint there as well, but was in the wind the whole time, and you've had the draft to hold. So big effect.
Yep. No, and that's yeah. So I think my watts were a little bit higher, but I think on that one actually, I don't think Shifty was. Or were you watching the first or second one? Do you know?
I think it was the second one.
Okay, yeah.
Uh,
So the second one I actually didn't win. So there was a guy behind me who
No way.
actually yeah, so it was Tonks that was behind me. So he drafted me when I pulled this,
Mm.
and so that was it's always if somebody's back there, they're going to do it.
Well,
Sai's
it's
done
always
it
a
to me
game of
many
chicken, isn't
times.
it? I find that kind of
It
you
is, yeah,
want to be close enough to catch the draft of the people in front of you, but you also don't want to lead out the people that are behind you. So,
yeah. So, and I wasn't that worried about giving up one place to Tonks because at that point, I had a sizable lead on him. So it was more. I don't want to make it easy for you, and so yeah, I started. It was only I don't know. I was maybe a second off the back of the group,
mm.
and so it's hit it really hard at the very beginning. It'll get you back into the draft of the group when you get up to the flat. Keep going through that, and then that kind of really it's go super hard across that flat to get your maximum speed, and then the faster you're going into the steep part, obviously you keep going hard up the steep part, but the faster you're going up the steep part, this less time it takes.
Mm. And so bike choice, I think it's SL8 and DT Swiss wheels. More on that later.
Let's go to
Um,
that later because
yeah,
I'm annoyed.
yeah, but yeah, it's kind of that. That's looking like a bit of a game breaker at the moment. We'll talk about that more later. Let's go to her beginner racing. What's up on her beginner racing this week, Craig?
So her beginner racing is Richmond flat roads, and I think, sorry, will I double check again? I think it's 3 laps. 3 laps, 19 kilometers. So same length as HSRL, but with no intermediate sprints and no hills.
Pick your slipperiest bike and probably DT Swiss.
Absolutely the fastest
More on
thing
that
you've
later.
got. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, cool. Enjoy that. I think with those Richmond roads, there's the kind of loop back where you hit a like 1-2% climb for a little bit. Much like we said about many of the routes, it's a place where you might get dropped if you're not paying attention. It's not a place where you're going to attack and win the race. So
Yeah. You're not going to win
not
the race. You might lose it.
yeah. And we've got a bit of news on Stampede for the month of July. Happy Orange Man Day, Independence Day, or just 4th of July, my sister's birthday for those of us that aren't in America, to the people away. But July brings us a new Stampede. What have we got?
So I think the plan is to use for this month's challenge the French tiny route macaron, that event only route. Now the problem is we haven't done any legwork on this yet, so it's going to be a week late starting because everybody in the organizer crew got caught up with one thing or another. But yeah, that is the plan, and we'll get that going and have all the info before Friday.
Oh, this is interesting, isn't it? So this is a 2.6K, 1.6 mile route. So super short.
Yep.
So I have to
I
be
think the
warmed
lead
up for
in is
that.
significant. I think the lead in significant though. Relative to the length of the route. Um, I'm not looking at it right now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm trying to work it out on Swift Insider, which is just giving me that. It doesn't tell me the lead in. So yeah, it could be fun.
Yeah,
Check that out from next weekend.
from next weekend, before if we can. But in any case, you'll have all of July to get your effort in.
So a couple of newsy bits. Let's go with the new kind of post-event zone, I guess you can call it. So I did on the Zwift Games rides on Thursday.
Uh,
Post-race,
Zed Racing.
Z Racing, sorry, yes, not Zwift Games.
Yes.
Post-race, you get dumped into, I think it was for 10 minutes, a kind of post-race event. Um, which is in the same world, has all the same people, but was super cool because it tells you how long you got left. It said do this cooldown. Quite a good way to make you do a cooldown, but also has all the same people that you just raced in. So you can kind of continue those nice chats on chat about the race that's just taken place, which I thought was really nice. And sort of a bit different to when when you do a race and then you get chucked out just into a world that's super populated and like there are people randomly chatting anyway. So thought that was a nice thing. I think it's only for those events at the moment, so hopefully it's something they roll out as an option. I know like the tiny races, there's you can join an event after the tiny races that's kind of an event for those races, but you have to sort of switch into it. I imagine there's quite a lot of people that enjoy that, really.
Yeah. I liked it, and I did a little bit of chatting with people, saying, because so I did a Z race. I'm trying to get my velo up to I'm trying to raise my velo so that I can stay on the same ladder team. Because we had to bump because a bunch of people all went up. So yeah, that's that. But so I was actually in a race where I was at the absolute bottom of the ZRS. So second band B, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
So my first one at that level in a long time. So I kind of said that I didn't get as much of a bump as I had wanted, but anyway, that's my own frustration. But one of the things I thought was kind of fun is it had the placement of what everybody got kind of labeled on your back
Yeah.
where you keep in your back pocket there, like the ride-ons. And that was good because sometimes like, oh, who is that guy? But then if you're going to remember anything, it's probably what happened at the finish.
Mm.
And yeah, so it helps you, talk about stuff and all of that. And the other thing is you can bring, when you're in that room, you can bring the results back up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
I
I
don't know if you
really
noticed
liked
that.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. No. So I thought it was a great thing, and yeah, I hope we're able to bring that into HSRL, or if it's not in time for that, into HWR at least.
So next thing in news, Zwift has deployed their companion-based fitness tracker. So you go in the companion app, you tap on the view that had those sort of bar charts and told you, usually for me, fresh. For some people, it's said productive, I think. Um, it gives you what I mean, I described it as Strava Light on the chat. So it gives you kind of your stress points over a period of time. It gives you your training score over a period of time, and it gives you a training status with that kind of classic. Actually, it's a view I associate more with intervals,
Yep.
overtraining or overreaching, productive, fresh, and detraining. There's sort of
Yep.
four charts and a line graph that goes across them. Um, it's nice that it's in app. Without making this podcast too long, we said it'd be a short one. I think Craig and I both have views on these types of fitness tracking algorithms. Probably a whole podcast in itself.
It is. I mean, I can kind of sum up mine on this one very quickly. I think the Zwift companion fitness tracker is pretty good. For a lot of people, it's who do most of their exercise on Zwift, almost all of their exercise on the bike. Um, it's really good. It's simple. It doesn't take a lot of effort to learn the interface. Um, my biggest complaint is actually that you can't hide it on the companion app. And that's, even if I did like it, sometimes I want the full functionality of the companion app, not half my screen gone into this fitness tracker. So anyway, that's my complaint. Um, for people that really want something a lot more in depth, there's tools out there, but this is pretty good for a pretty large portion of people, I think.
Yeah, I think, I mean, for a really good in-depth view on this kind of thing, check out the Real Science of Sport podcast, who
Yeah.
have an episode called Should I Trust My Smartwatch? And I think where I'm is anything like this, which is based on an algorithm, you have to ask yourself, what is the algorithm trained on? Now, if it's trained on a lot of people who are like you in Zwift, it will probably be quite good for you. If it isn't, then it's like the errors are just massive on these kind of things. Matt DeFreitas put an interesting example up recently of like what his predicted times were for certain events, and they were so much slower than Matt can go. And it's
Yeah.
basically like that's just showing that that algorithm is trained on normal people like me and not on amazingly fit people who are like in the top. I think he's like top 20 or top 10 in the world over a certain running distance over the mile. I think it was last year, like for his age group, which is bonkers fast. So yeah, it's just see where the training data's come from. So if this is all from Zwift, all from riders kind of in that CD category, who I think are the bulk of Zwift's riders, then could be quite good for us. If you're in a B, if you're in A, might be stretching it a bit. But if you're A plus, probably take this with a large pinch of salt. I suspect if you're A or A plus, you're not using the Zwift companion app to drive your training anyway. So, or if you are, interesting decision.
Um, I don't know. I think it's fine. I like really I do. I think it's fine. And you can't use any of these, no matter how good they are, to drive your training to the exclusion of adding real thought. Because that whole how am I feeling? There's more to that than clicking the perceived exertion 1 to 10 that some apps use to try and bring that in. There's more to it than that. Um, but it it's a thing. It's something to dry. It's something. It's a pretty easy data point to say, oh look, I have done this, or the easy thing is, and I think why Zwift won it front and center, is you get the bar graphs and oh, I haven't ridden in 3 days. I haven't been on Zwift in 3 days. I should ride. So I mean, the reason Zwift wants it front and center is to drive engagement on the platform. So I get that. I just want a way to hide it or minimize it or something, even if it's temporary. But
Yeah, this
it's
is the slippery slope towards Duolingo almost, isn't it? That kind of Swift is going to start nagging you that you are not, as Craig said, engaging with the platform. I would say playing the game regularly enough. So yeah, it's we'll see where it goes. Right, let's get on to DT Swiss Wheels, Craig. Something you have definitely have a view on.
Yeah, I do. So, and it's not just because I thought I had, you know, the my optimized upgrade strategy, and then Zwift went and broke it. I think the way they had it set up before they released these wheels was very good, where it was going to take an awful lot to fully upgrade a Tron, and it was going to be just barely marginally better than the fastest bikes or the fastest other road bikes. And that was pretty good. Now, so the DT Swiss disc wheels is the new 85 1100 disc, whatever they call it. It is just so the SL8 with that disc wheel is just slightly faster and just slightly lighter than the Tron. It is just better. So if you can get that, it's better. There's no reason to have the Tron. So I guess that's yeah. The Tron was pretty good. They've now basically, for anyone level 39 or up who can afford an SL8 and the DC Swiss disc wheels, there is the Tron is never the best choice anymore.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's with all the bikes. Like I liked it when they based it a bit on real world data because I don't like the idea of like Acme Bikes chucks Swift a load of money and goes, "Hey Swift, make our bike the best bike in the game." Um, However, I did like the fact that there were certain bikes that you could, if somebody put in like, I don't know, a year, half a year's worth of effort to get a fully upgraded Tron, like pick a time unit here. Like somebody puts in a load of effort and they get a bike which is 5 seconds quicker than the fastest bike you can buy over an hour on the
Not
flat or something like not
not
even that.
even.
I kind of
Yeah.
think, no, fair play. Fair play. Like you've put a lot of effort in, and you've got like a marginal gain because you did a lot of Swift. Right? I don't really mind that, but I think this is like just where there's one perfect bike for everyone just seems a bit. It seems a bit boring. Like make the game
Yeah.
more varied.
Yeah. Yeah. So when the same bike is the fastest climber and the best on the flat and yeah, yeah, it's like we don't need to do bike recommendations anymore.
We still should though. Everything should
We
be a
should.
bike change. So yeah, I think bit of a shame. So that takes us on to round horn, which will be really, really quick. In honor of Sean Vogenberg, who did a couple of crit races, I'm gonna say Friday because today is
Yes.
Saturday, but time zones are confusing. We deal a lot with time zones over the Tron, so I'm never really sure where I am, let alone where anyone else is. Um, yeah, did a couple of crit races. We're just going to talk about stupid races we've done. So Craig, you've done lots of stupid races. What's the kind of most recent or most fun? You're doing nationals this year, are you, for age group?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go give a shot at that race old guy cruiser on my BMX and see what I can do. Um, Most recent dumb race though was my fat bike race where I yeah, my dropper post was not dropping but drooping. Um, so it wasn't staying up when I was sitting on it. It was just going down, down, down gradually, which does not help when you need on soft snow, you need to put pressure on the rear wheel to climb. So yeah, my race was a little bit non-ideal that way, but I probably finished not too far from where I should have anyway. But yeah, that was a bunch of space in the or a bunch of time riding in snow on 5-inch wide tires. Um,
Sounds a lot
almost
of
hit
fun.
some, almost hit somebody.
I remember the clip.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Um, for the benefit of the listeners, we did send each other messages of epic races, epic crashes in crit racing. Once Sean had started doing his crit racing, so not to scare him too much. For me, it is the Dartmoor Classic, which was due to do this year, but we'll do next year instead. So it's not a race; it's a sportive, but it's just going to be really hard. 107 miles. It's got nearly 3,000 meters of climbing in that time. And it is got max gradient at 20% on one of those climbs. So it's going to be tough. I don't know how to turn the trainer difficulty down in real life or do 50% climbs. So we'll see how it goes. Um,
You need a 50-tooth rear cog.
yeah, but I've got GRX on my bike, so I'm hoping that will help. So yeah, that's it for me. Very quick one actually on silly things. I noticed that I think it's Murder Britannia is in the game as one of the four climbs at the moment,
It is, yep.
which takes about 15 minutes. So I did that to cool down after my rest on Friday
It
in
takes
silly
15
things.
minutes as a cool down. It takes a little less time if you attack it.
Yeah, and so yeah, I think it took about that was about like 2 watts a kilo, like zone
Yeah.
two stuff. So yeah, all good fun. But that's about it. Craig, thank you. Been fun. Well, I thought Craig might say thanks, but he's far too Canadian for that. He's just given me a jaunty wave and a smile. Moo and good night, everyone. Good luck in what races are left this weekend, and see you all in Zwift soon.
Good night.